Welcome to my daily review. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. Today is October 28th, Tuesday, and you can see the Nasdaq was up 190 points or 0.8%, closing at 23,827, all-time closing high, as we saw on all the indexes. So we have more cocktail information tonight. I can go to how about we go to the S&P first? How about that? And then we could say that, oh wow, it closed above it or traded above 6,900 today, 6,911 for the first time. So it definitely has 7,000 in its sights. You could see the S&P was up a quarter percent, and the Dow was up, a third of a percent, 47,706, almost at 48,000. So that's real good cocktail information if you're into such things. The Nasdaq though. Yeah, up 190 points, 0.8%, closed at 23,827, 12% above average, 50-day volume. The thing that, Nasdaq's getting a little stretched, as I say that, above 6%, it usually gets a little wonky, but we do have a precedent, after the Liberation Day and it rallied, above the 50, it pulled back here, but it's still 6.7. If you look at that 50, that red number there, 9.3, 9.5, 8.5, it stayed above the 50 because it rallied so hard and rapidly, and the trajectory of the move was so, impressive and fast. It stayed above the 50 for a long time. If you just look at that the whole way until what, the middle of July, it came down to what, 5.5%, 5.6. So it got below the 6% threshold there, but it stayed for a while. And then now it's kind of been, below the 6% level as we watch this here as it pulls back close to the 50 there. Rallied up again here on September 22, got 6.2% above the 50. And then what did it do? It came right back in and pulled back to 3.8%, then rallied back up, got close to 6%, then pulled back. And now here we are as we start melting up. This looks to me like a melt up phase as we head into the end of Q4. But here we are. The Nasdaq is 6.7% above the 50. And I always get a little more cautious, of making new buys when it's that far ahead of the 50 because it's likely to pull back. But this time it might not. We have to be open-minded that it could just melt up, the rest of the year. That's a very plausible scenario. So keep an open mind. I was just a little bit surprised. We know when the Nasdaq and the S&P and the Dow are going up like this, we know that who the who the usual suspects are, and this is NVIDIA. Had this one on the ready list, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I took it off this week, but to make these powerful moves, to move a stock like this, it takes a huge amount of demand, breaking above that 195 area today. As Jensen spoke at his little conference there in Silicon Valley, had a bunch of great things to say. And of course, he's a good showman and a good talker. And you can see it's even rallying after hours. So NVIDIA above 200, more cocktail information, right? Now it's honing in on a $5 trillion market cap. So, yeah, we got a ton of cocktail information tonight. But this one, NVIDIA and Tesla are the two that are not reporting this week. So to me, those are the safer plays. I can't believe that they're really buying, these stocks. Tesla's up nearly 2% today. Microsoft ahead of earnings tomorrow. I mean, to me, this thing gapped up 2 days in a row, sold off, and closed near the lows of the session. It was up on news today. Yeah, 10% of the daily range. If we take a look at the 5-minute chart, we'll see that gapped up at the open on news and then sold off. They're reporting earnings tomorrow. It's hard to, make a big position ahead of earnings and have something go sideways. So they're reporting earnings tomorrow. Who else is Meta Platforms reporting earnings? This one was up slightly. Google, I think this one was down into the print tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we're going to hear from Apple, which, is up again today, slightly, 0.007 percentage. But, Apple looks good to me heading into the print here. It's just starting to push away from its base here. And the other one was Amazon, which was in the news today. They're laying off a bunch of people, and I know the Main Street thinks that, God, that's awful. They're laying off people. Things must be terrible at Amazon, but Wall Street thinks differently. They think, wow, this is less overhead, easier to make their numbers. They applaud layoffs, and that's just the reverse psychology that Wall Street works with here. So it's just easier for them to make their numbers with less headcount, less overhead. All right. Robots are replacing humans in the manufacturing sector. All right, that's it for the indexes. That's it for the Mag 7. I think that's it, right? Yeah. So five of the seven are going to report tomorrow or Thursday, and we're going to hear from Jerome Powell tomorrow. 99.9% sure he's going to cut interest rates, which, I'll get to that in a minute. And all right, I'm going to move on here. And when of course, we have the China USA, Xi Trump meeting to look forward to as well as a possible catalyst, right? All right, I got to look at some of these earnings reports from last night and today because this is kind of, market moving stuff here. This is UPS. Had a big move up, but all it did is trade up to its 200 here at $100.57. Got rejected, got the Matambo treatment and then pulled back a little bit, closed 24% of its daily range. But still a nice 8% move. CLS, this one was really ramping in the morning and then closed 29% of the daily range. I don't think it's got enough short, shorts the power, a short squeeze, and really rip this thing hard. So it just pulled back. It's got a gap now. I think it does. Where's the gap at 314, I think it was, or 312, 314.29. It came down to 314.56. So, gosh, I guess in spirit, you could say it filled that gap, but a nice report. And this thing's not breaking out of a base or anything. This thing's already way extended into the earnings report. So just a stellar, report, stellar company. And it was rewarded. Wolf up on news today. Wow, nice move, but, closed in the middle of the daily range, 54%. It was up to 1705 and then pulled back still. 17% move for Wolf. CCJ up on news too. Breaking out of this little consolidation pattern here. Man, that's a nice move. 23% for Kamiko. What else do we have? Oh, the steel stocks, CRS Carpenter reported last week and had a nice move, and then ATI reported, and this one was followed up with a 7.5% move, trying to break out of this base here. You could see that pretty obviously here with a little bit of volume. I mentioned CRS. They reported last week and gapped higher, I'll say, and now it's just allowing its five to catch up. Yeah, it was up 23% with big volume on the 23rd. So that was last, what, Thursday? All right, REGN, we've got some action in the drug area. Another 12% move, breaking out of this like stage one base. If you're a Darvis type of trader, you definitely have to say it's breaking out of that box at 618 area. This is clear as day right here. And yeah, 618, what does it close at 654? So yeah, the Darvis traders will be all over that one, of the Wyckoff or whatever you want to refer to them as, but they're momentum traders that like new highs. Anyway, AGYS, computer integrated systems. This is a clean breakout from a base here. So, you can't ignore stuff like this. This is a powerful move, 23% move with massive volume. So these are going on our list. I've got a whole nother list for this weekend, so I'm gonna have to make another video. So you could pick out these ones that you like, but these are nice breakouts here from those two. What else do I have? Oh man, REGN and oh WGS. WGS. Yeah. This is not really a drug. This is more of a diagnostic company, WGS, not Goldman Sachs. Yeah, breaking out of a base here, but kind of pulled back. When you see a breakout, you want to see something like I just showed you. This one kind of pulled back. Still, what was it? 66% of its daily range. Trying to break out here, 5% move, just not quite the same. That's quite a difference in those two charts. Anyway, nice move though. I mean, for WGS longs. LEG, this is Leggett and Platt, nice 15% move trying to break out of this stage one base as well. So office furniture, and I can't go any further than Wayfair, which was just a real surprise here in the retail space because retail's been really, consumer retail's been really a drag. And there weren't a lot of sectors up today. The tech bros are obviously the big winners, the Mag 7 and those riding the AI coattails. But 23% move here for Wayfair. Nice strong move with massive volume. Closed in the upper quartile, what, 84%. So Wayfair is fantastic looking move, breaking out of a base. And so, yeah, I've got a new video this week, and there's a lot of these earnings move. I'm sorry for taking so much time on earnings. Some of you might not be too interested in these moves, but man, breaking out of these bases here, I think you got to pay attention. This is Confluent up 8%, closed at the lows of the session there, 11% of the daily range. That's not really what you want to see. Take a look at the 5-minute chart. Yeah, ramped up and then sold off all day. But we see some wonky moves around earnings. They could come back tomorrow and start buying this thing right up. What else do we have here? Man, just a lot of stuff. Oh, SoFi. SoFi with a nice report, nice move, and closed up 6%. Was it 31.98? Closed at 31.66, 90% of the daily range. So that's what you want to see breaking out of this base. Once again, what's in the box? Not SoFi. SoFi is out of the box. 30 was the old high, close at 31.66. So nice move for the SoFi longs. Congrats to the SoFi longs. Okay, all is not rose. I can't just show you all the winners. One of the reports that really stuck out to me today was DR Horton. They were not sanguine on the market at all. They were very and I wouldn't say begging for a rate cut. They're just saying the tariffs are hurting their matter of fact. This is a really tough market for, anything involved with the home builders. It sold off and then kind of, got some support here and kind of, right here you could see at the open it traded way down and then buyers came in and it wasn't, too bad. It saved some of the damage from today. And the other one was Glowworm, which had a pretty decent report and pulled back to its 21 and then closed up in the upper quartile of the daily range. 80% of the daily range. I want to take a look at the 5-minute because it just kind of sold off at the open. Then buyers came in. Not a bad day. This is kind of like a buy the rumor, sell the news. It's been up a lot. I mean, for a company like this, I mean, 37 to, it was up to 95 or something, 90. Yeah, and then pull back to the 21. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just buy the rumor, sell the news. A strong report there. You can see 16, 19, 21 sales growth. There's nothing wrong with Corning. It's just, people are going to take profits, folks. That's the name of the game. You should too. RCL, these guys, what was their excuse? The weather. Whenever companies start using the weather as an excuse, you gotta, like I say, don't tell me about the labor pain, just show me the baby. And this one has a legitimate excuse because of the Hurricane Melissa. They said the port in Haiti was closed, so they had no access there. I'm a little skeptical of excuses. I mean, and it looks like Wall Street was too. They really sold this thing off with volume, 8.5% move. Anyway, pray for those folks impacted by Melissa. That looks like a real terrible storm. All right, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to switch gears and go defense. Curtis Wright making new highs today. They don't report till next week. Everything reports this week or next week. It's really hard for me to find stocks set up in bases that are, not reporting, this week or next week. I mean, there's so many companies reporting, so it's going to be super busy and trying to, just follow all this stuff. But this stock made a new high, defensive name making new highs. Carmen, they report next week, of course, and just surfing the 5 made a new high today. GE reported last week, so I'd be more comfortable reporting something a known entity than an unknown. And this one had, 11, 21, 24% sales growth, very impressive. And that 307.25 would be, a trigger. Traded above it, then pulled back. And now, it's above it, 309, but just a tick above it. And this looks like a nice little consolidation pattern here for GE. I like GE right here. Could put that one on the ready list if it just pulls back another day. We'll see. And let me see. I think that's it for the defense names. I got to move on. A lot of stuff to get to. The drug names. These guys don't report till the 13th. This one just keeps making new highs on that positive phase three trial. I used to call it a thinly traded name, but volume's coming in here. Now the average daily volume is 306,000 with $70 price, so not as thin as it used to be. It's still under a 1 billion market cap here at 992 million market cap. So just a small, tiny company. You can see the biotechs, as a top group here. And there's a reason for that. There's a lot of them that are doing well. RCUS, another medical biotech stock that's just, off the lows, man. It was 791 not long ago. Today hit over 20. Just a monster name here. Not reporting till 11/11 Veterans Day. The market should be closed that day, but it's not. Another subject for another time. IDYA Biosciences, IDEA, Biosciences. Another new high today, man. This is a 3 billion market cap stock. So these are all kind of small, but making new highs and showing relative strength. So we like that. A couple others that I just haven't checked for a while. Yeah. IONS is just a beast. And Nectar is another one. Very strong. Ooh, this looks kind of good here. Wait a minute. This little flag pattern pinching in here. Ooh, higher lows. Hmm. And it's got this little, box pattern. I kind of like that. I kind of like this here, right around $60. Let me keep my eye on Nectar, Fruit of the Gods. And I think that's it for, there's another one that I like, INSM. Yeah, just pull back to the 21-pound support, bounced Monday and Tuesday. Not bad. All right. I'm going to move on to a couple of names, just some software names that I like. CrowdStrike was upgraded today, had a decent response to the upgrade, up 3.25%, breaking out of this cup with handle pattern. So that looks good. They don't report till December. Zscaler, both of these I like. Zscaler probably lagging a little further behind than CrowdStrike. Why do I say that? Well, Zscaler's what, 6.4% above its 21. What's CrowdStrike here? Yeah, it's really starting to motor 8.8. So just a little bit, faster mover than Zscaler. I like them both. And I also like TLS. I haven't looked at that one in a while. Just consolidating, not bad. And of course, everybody, refers to Palo Alto because it is the 148 billion market cap, the largest of these cybersecurity names. And this one's making new highs as well. All right. I'm going to get away from this group and go to a Shopify, still a software name. It was in that little box area and it's broken out of the box. What's in the box? Not Shopify. That one's moving out of the box, much like SoFi is doing. Who else we have? Oh, Palantir. Oh man, Palantir. I had this one on the ready list this week. You're just barely pushing away from space, not really doing what I had hoped it would do, but they have earnings next week once again, so it's just really tough this time of year until we get past these earnings and past, Jerome Powell tomorrow. Yeah, there's just a lot of I don't know, things holding it back now. I was reading an article where they said that Palantir, they wanted to have a stock split, but it's already got a huge, huge supply here. Yeah, I don't think it could afford a stock split. I mean, it can, of course, but I don't see the purpose of it. Yeah, they're going to report. We'll see if they announce a stock split. It doesn't make any sense to me here, but you never know. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. At mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. In honor of the great Steve Jobs, I have one more thing. We have some good stuff after hours and some bad stuff. I'm going to start with the bad news. Learn this consumer education stock is down, what, $50 or 33%. That's a hell of a haircut. And it stands to reason now with Chat GPT or kids learning through these these learning models. They could just use their phone So it's kind of a tough go for I didn't listen to the conference call. I did not read the report. I'm just kind of guessing that's probably where their weakness is, and that's a heck of a haircut. I mean, it's getting a third of its valuation. It's going to lose that tomorrow. It looks like a 6.6 billion market cap is going to be down to like 4.2. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but yeah, kind of a negative. I want to go to the positive, spin positive here. Bloom Energy just a crushed the report, just blowout numbers, and we're going to need more energy. This stands to reason that these guys could do this for a long, long time. And I think, probably pretty wise to own at least one energy company. I like GEV. I don't know if this is going to help GEV. Nah, no pin action there. But Bloom, definitely a leader in this group. Crushed earnings now 118 after hours. That should help stuff like Oklo. Wow, Oklo sold off today, $5. Oh, geez. Yeah, not much after hours. LEU, not much pin action here. Not much pin action there. SMR. Yeah, yeah. So it's just Bloom Energy. So the bloom is not off the rose. The bloom is definitely flourishing, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that one, pull back to its 21, found support, bounce. Now it gets this new data point, right? And you're probably going to see some upgrades. You're probably going to see some, institutions talking highly of Bloom, and I wouldn't be surprised if it took out that 125.75 high. That would be, for me, that would be definitely a trigger point. You say, Marty, why would I wait? Why would I wait that long, right? Just buy it off the 21. Well, that's also a strategy as well. I'd like to see it break out of the 125.75, and it definitely could. Based on that earnings report tonight, Enphase, I did not see anything about Enphase's report, down 7%. Okay, this is one of those laggards. It's been a laggard. This is, the old saying of what goes down low can continue to go lower, then what goes higher can continue to go higher. And yeah, Enphase just can't believe that the solar group is a top 10 group mostly because of NXT, yeah, which is doing well. First Solar, yeah, and I think Solar Edge, yeah, those three are holding up the group. Man, Enphase is really having trouble. All right, enough of that nonsense. Booking reported tonight. I didn't see their report either. I did see the stock was up. This is kind of in a big consolidation pattern here, up 3% after hours. We'll see what happens tomorrow. People are booking their travel and traveling around, except for not on RCL because of the weather. STX had a nice report. I don't know, it's up 5% after hours. I would think with that report it would make new highs. What's it, 264.83? That was a killer report. And what I look for when I see stuff like this is pin action within the group. Yeah, SanDisk doing well. Western Digital, yeah, yeah. Seagate really, yeah. This is up 5%, and then Micron, yeah, they're up as well. You know what? Oh, at WDC they report this week. Yeah, so probably chasing some shorts out before that report. Yeah, that looks pretty good too. Western Digital. All right, so that group looks strong for tomorrow. We'll focus on that tomorrow morning's video and see what's shaking in that group. Who else we have? Oh, Visa. Visa never moves on their earnings report. It just grinds higher. What is it up? 0.75%. But if you just look at it over time, Visa's just one of those, companies that you just put in a retirement account. And I don't want to say set it and forget it, especially with all this credit card defaults. But yeah, Visa's just been a beast since coming public in 2007. All right. Who else do we have? Oh, EA, it's in the game. They got bought out. Who cares what they have to say? Cheesecake Factory. I don't think gaming's doing that well, by the way. Not as strong as it had been. Cheesecake Factory 2.83% loss during the session, lower, after hours. This has been a really rough group. All of these, eateries or retail restaurants, oof, just been hammered. Sweet Greens was a sweet darling for a while. Oh my gosh, these things have just been absolutely brutalized. The one that is hanging in there is Dutch Bros, double bottom base. It didn't participate in Liberation Rally, but not doing too bad here, and I like it going into the print next week. So anyway, I think that's it for me. Yeah, thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com and never give up. Have some more stuff in the morning. Look forward to it. We get a rate cut tomorrow. Never give up.